All right, happy Friday, everyone. This week, I caught what could have been really damaging errors that could have wreaked havoc down. Wow, that could have wreaked havoc down the line. And not just one error, but several errors. And today, I want to share with you how I caught the error, what the error was, and what you can do to catch errors in your own practice. So that's what I want to talk about. I think this is going to be really important and hopefully really helpful. Why don't I just start with the story though? Well, actually, before I do that, let me introduce myself. If you've not been here before, my name is Matt. Wow, let me actually pick those glasses up because look at this. This is not, that's distracting. That hair. Okay. If you've not been here before, my name is Matt. I'm a therapist in private practice. I own a group practice and I like to make videos just like this, talking all about private practice. Private practice and group practice is also a small business. So if you're not a therapist and you're a small business owner, you might find the videos on this channel helpful as well. Let me just tell you a bit about, one other thing. I also run a consultation group. It's an online community where you can participate, ask questions, and I actually review every single inquiry that comes in there, every question personally, and respond with detailed responses and videos most of the time. But I'll leave a link to that down below in the description. But let me actually just tell you what happened this week, what I caught. So I do all the billing in my practice, right? And I own a group practice, so it's not just me submitting claims for my own clients, but submitting claims for my therapists. And we've been growing, so it's not just one or two, but it's a handful. It's a good number of claims that get submitted, enough where I can't remember every single client or every single issue or every single detail about the claim. It's just too much to remember, right? So typically what I'll do is a couple days a week, I'll submit claims, I'll do the billing for the practice. And then basically what happens is when you submit a claim, it goes through this process of going to a clearinghouse, getting approved, and then, what it gets, the payment gets sent to your business or whatever it might be, right? So you submit the claim, it gets approved, you get paid. That's basically how it works. And so there's a delay typically between the time you submit to the time it gets approved and then when you get paid. That delay varies in length, right? Needless to say, most of the time it works just fine. You submit the claim, you wait, you get approved, and all that works out, right? And you kind of you can see the process in your EHR, right? Your health record. And so most of the time it's totally fine. However, I was submitting a claim this week and I noticed that a client who usually has a deductible, let's say it was like $5, they don't have a deductible. They usually have a copay of like $5. I recognized that when the claim came back this time, it came back as a deductible, right? But I realized it wasn't just because it was the start of the new year, because that happens. This person actually had a copay. We're going to say it was $5, January 1st. And, claims that were submitted within the first couple weeks of January were coming back with the copay. But then the middle of January, they started coming back with deductibles. And I realized this is not just a resetting of a deductible, but this is potentially something went wrong with the claim. So I realized that this was an error, right? And, or a potential error. So I didn't know what to do. There's a biller I usually contact and communicate with that helps me out with some of these problems. And they said that this error does sometimes occur where they will run the rendering provider as the billing provider, but really need to run the billing provider. Now, I know I'm getting all technical with the billing stuff. If you're confused about that, that's okay. This is not about billing per se. It's more about catching errors in your practice. But I at least wanted to give you this context here. And so what happened was I called up the insurance company and I said, listen, I submitted this claim. Most of them are coming back fine, but these couple are coming back as deductibles. And then the agent looked it up and they said, oh yeah, we ran this through the rendering provider and not the billing provider. So there was an error, right? Now, I could have just passed this off as just another deductible or whatever, just kind of, went through my day because it looked like it had gotten approved through the insurance company after submitting the claim. And it did get approved, but it got approved incorrectly. And then when I spoke to the biller I usually talk to, she said that this does happen, but it's really, really rare. And so I caught this error early on. And, I don't know, this could have gone on for a long time and then it would have come back and we would have had to fix all these different claims. But I caught it with it the first time, right? So it only happened to 2 claims that we submitted. And I caught them both right at the same time, very early on. And so I guess the point of that is really you want to make sure that you don't just rely wholly on the, because in simple practice, that's the EHR I'm using, it'll kind of give you like a report, not a report, but it will tell you that claims have been approved. But rather than just taking that at face value and just kind of going quickly through my review, because I'll review things in the practice, right? I'll review some of the claims, all of the claims actually. And rather than going through really quickly, this helped me to remember to really slow down and to double check, right? So in this example, I could have double checked this, this insurance claim versus the previous one. And that's how I actually saw there was a difference. I saw that the previous one was a copay and the one after was a deductible. There was an incongruence there. So my encouragement to you is if you're going through things like this, whether it be billing insurance companies, maybe you're collecting payment for outstanding balances, always double check. Now, we don't want to go out of control with this because double checking can get tedious. And as your practice grows, it gets really, really hard to double check everything. You don't need to like double check everything to a T. But for this, for example, I need to double check and just to make sure that the claims are not being submitted in error, because eventually you might catch one, right? And so I wanted to encourage you today, make sure you're double checking. All right, that's one. And then the other error that I also caught was I ran a report in the EHR to let me know if there were any claims that had not been approved. And actually, from almost a year ago, I found 3. I had totally forgotten about them. Now I have a year to fix it and to resubmit if needed. But basically what happened in this issue was I submitted claims to the insurance company, and then they got accepted, meaning like they're under review, but they never got fully approved. I don't know why. All the other ones afterwards did, but these ones didn't. And it went totally overlooked. And the only reason I caught this was because I was running reports. And that's one thing I want to encourage you to do in your practice. If you are a solo practice, a group practice, run reports. Run them consistently. Maybe set aside 1 day per month where you run reports. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to show you what I mean by reports. Let me switch over to my computer. Now, I use Simple Practice, but I think you can run reports in almost any EHR, or at least you should be able to. And if you're not able to, you want to figure out how you can run reports. And this is just Simple Practices like, I guess, customer support website. It's like tutorials and things. I can't show you my own Simple Practice account because there's PHI on there, right? But if you look here, we have a whole bunch of reports you can run. So let me just click on billing reports, for example. If you click on this, they have a whole tutorial about how to do it. But basically what you can do in Simple Practice is you can run these analytical reports that will pull data from your entire EHR. So for example, I'm able to run a report that lets me see what insurance claims were submitted at any point. And I can filter it through what insurance provider, who the client was. And so then I'm able to like filter for like previous year insurance claims that were not accepted. And it will pull up all of them. You can pull up outstanding balance reports. You can pull up reports about clients showing and no showing, late cancellations. You can pull up reports about credit card payments and all sorts of things. And oftentimes, I don't hear many therapists talking about running reports, but it's crucial. And I wanted to at least share that with you today because I think running reports consistently can prevent and catch a ton of issues that could potentially be going on, right? How else would I have caught the insurance claims that didn't go through? If I didn't run reports, I never would have thought to click. I never would have just clicked into this client's chart randomly and checked it out, right? But because I'm in the habit of running reports consistently, I was able to catch that, and now I'm able to fix it. The same goes with the, this insurance issue that I talked about in the beginning. right? You can run a report and you can kind of compare the different insurance claims that go through. Now, I'm talking a lot about insurance claims. These just happen to be 2 errors that I caught this week, but it could be errors with, having backdated late cancellation policies or fees or, unpaid claims. And there's all sorts of things you can run reports on. So start doing that. If you're in private practice, I want you to get in the habit of running reports, pulling data, looking at things like that. I think you'll find it tremendously helpful. Hopefully, in the very best cases, the reports come back totally clean and there's nothing you need to do. And then in the other cases, it comes back with some discrepancies or some highlights and you need to address it like I had to this week. So yeah, I think another thing to think about is errors happen. You're not gonna prevent everything, but I do think that running these reports could really, really be helpful. So I just wanted to share that today. I hope you found this video helpful, enlightening, and I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.